somebody that's worked in agriculture pretty much most of his life, started by getting a degree in agriculture from McGill University. Has worked mainly federally, but also for Ministry of Agriculture, but also provincially, municipally, and internationally. He now operates a farm in West Sechelt, is a president of Sechelt's Farmers Market, and is a member of the Market Safe development team. The title of his speech or presentation is The Agricultural Land Base of the Sunshine Coast. Let's welcome John Bell.
Thank you. I put up this statement. It's from the National Geographic, June '09, the most recent issue. The world is now recognizing what we're recognizing, that we have an issue with food. What will we do? What will it take to grow more? Well, that is a real good question, and that's why we're here. What I'd like you to do is just sort of visualize. Everyone visualize what a farm is. And I'm going to go through some easy pictures. And this is a nice eastern farm. Or if you're from the prairies, big sky. Back east again, an old big dairy barn. A Pacific Coast farm, potatoes, been around for probably 100 years. That is the traditional view of a farm, but we really need to start changing what we're doing. We need to think of a farm, and I've got some pretty radical examples. If you think we can't farm on the Sunshine Coast, these people are farming in Norway. Anyone says we've got a rock issue and a slope issue, well, if you're in Switzerland, you can farm on a slope. And not only that, you can farm productively, prosperously. We don't have to have big open spaces and tillable soil. If it's too wet, go with the flow. Grow cranberries. If it's dry, and this is somewhere in the Middle East, I think, you irrigate. We don't need to have impediments. And we can do all sorts of things to make the land productive. So the question is, how do we change our land use pattern? We've all, and it was just mentioned, we have a lot of people coming to the coast here. And it's putting pressure on us. So we've got, right now, the land use is homes, basically for leisure. That's really where we are today. So what we need to do is we need to change and do farms and food production. So how are we going to get there? That's really our big question. So let's step back a bit for a few years and say, well, what is the agricultural land of this province? And we've got the Agricultural Land Reserve, and I'm sure everyone has heard the word ALR, and it means the Agricultural Land Reserve. And unfortunately, most of it in British Columbia is in the north. Short days, cooler, harder to grow in. And the Ag Reserve was enacted in 1974, and its job is to protect the farmland because we were losing somewhere 14,000 acres a year. Now, for those that have a hard time understanding the scope of this, it's 300 times the golf course across the road. That much land was being lost from agriculture annually, and it went on for a number of years. So the government realized that they had to do something. And they classified land as ag land. So we've got a couple of classifications, 7 in fact, and they go from 1 being the best to 7 being non-tillable. I always refer to this classification as a tractor tillage map. If you can put a tractor in it and you can till it, it's usually in the ALR. Class 1 is the best farmland, like in this picture. You put the plow in and you can really go to town. Unfortunately, developers can as well. You put your services in and you can pave it, it's flat, it's easy, it's perfect for development. So we have the conflict. And all the way down, this class 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down to class 7, which may be still agriculturally productive, depending on the inputs. And that's really the key. Depending on what you want to put into the land, you can make it work.